Welcome to Bullseye, inside UB Athletics. From inside the Bulls team meeting room, I'm Paul Peck, voice of Buffalo Bulls football, joined by Jim KUBIAK, Bulls radio color analyst, following a very tough, very disappointing 25-20 loss to the Toledo Rockets. Jeff Quinn, to begin his post-game press conference, Jim said, "I have no words to describe what happened today." You feel a little bit bad for Jeff. He continues to be in this situation where he watches his team battle some of the best teams in the MAC, but they just can't make those last couple of plays to win. How frustrating can you imagine it is for not only Jeff Quinn but the players themselves?
Well, very frustrating. They came in with a great game plan, and they executed that game plan. And Toledo comes in 7-1. They're a good football team, arguably one of the best teams in the MAC. And Buffalo did some great things tonight, and just comes up just a little short, and it's frustrating to always be just a little bit short. But yeah, I believe after what I've seen that these guys are right on the brink.
Well, we'll see what happens right on the brink. We'll talk much more about this game. Even though Jeff Quinn said he had no words to describe it, he did have a few. Let's hear the thoughts, post-game comments of the Bulls head coach and the UB players.
We're very blessed to have these young men that are continuously competing, fighting, and doing everything they can. To be able to get ourselves in a one-possession game with Toledo. A lot of people might not have gave us a whole lot of opportunity to do that, but I knew deep down inside our football team was ready to compete tonight and play.
Shotgun snap to LICATA, fakes the handoff, throws the wide receiver screen, caught by Newts, first down at the 45, at the 40, at the 35, at the 30, at the 20, 15, and out of bounds. Near the 10-yard line goes Alex Newts.
We were all ready to go. It was a pretty special atmosphere out there, with the rain and the wind, and it was cold, but, I think it really worked in our favor, and, we just couldn't capitalize in the end.
And when you saw us stay with them, you had Bo back, Fred Lee back, and you really saw the team build off of that energy, a lot of energy coming off of it.
1st and 10 for the Bulls' first play of the game. Hand off to Bo, hole on the left, to the 30, puts his head down, runs over a Rocket, and gets another 5 yards and a first down to the 35-yard line. Welcome back, Brandon Oliver.
Bo was a tremendous player. It was a nice spark to have him back in there. There was nobody that wanted to get back in there and show what he's all about than Bo, and he had another 100-yard day, and with 24 carries, so I was real proud of his effort tonight.
We just got to keep on bonding as a team. Just know that if you beat the guy in front of you individually, that we'll win.
And listen, we played the 4 best teams in the MAC already, and it's important for us to understand where we are and what we need to do to get a W under our belt, and that's all that's on my mind right now.
I'm Paul Peck, once again joined by Bulls radio color analyst Jim KUBIAK as we break down the Bulls' 25-20 defeat to the Toledo Rockets. First half of this one, kind of a tale of two halves, to use your phrase, Jim KUBIAK. First half of this one, and right off the bat of the first half of this one, a defensive takeaway turned into a touchdown by the Bulls, and Courtney Lester sort of set a little bit of a mood for the way that first half went, didn't it?
Great first half for Buffalo, and they start off with a defensive touchdown. Courtney Lester takes it to the house, and it was huge for Buffalo, huge momentum, and it's something that Buffalo sorely needed.
We talked a lot about field position heading into this game, and the Bulls were able to take control of the field position in the first half, mostly because of their special teams. Tyler Grassman, the punter, doing a nice job keeping it away from the outstanding MAC return guy for Toledo, Bernard Reedy. That really did change the theme of the first half, didn't it?
Without question, I thought special teams was hands down the best game of the year for Buffalo. They kept it away from Bernard Reedy, who was a very dangerous return guy. The punts were great. Inclement weather, blocked extra points. I mean, we had it all tonight, and what really great effort by Buffalo.
And in the first half, you saw the return of Brandon Oliver back after missing the last 4 games, and he made an immediate impact with some of his typical Bo Oliver runs in the first half. You could feel how different the UB offense was when you put him back in.
Well, he's the key player for UB, and he brings not only that energy and the performance, but he's a leader, and those guys just feel better in the huddle, and having him back is certainly going to make a difference here down the stretch.
Well, the Bulls had the halftime lead, but there's the reason why Toledo had won 7 games in a row, and they're on the brink of the top 25. They made some halftime adjustments, and they came out charging, and that sort of changed this whole game around, didn't it?
Well, 18 unanswered points in the third quarter. David Fluellen, the Lockport native, Western New York kid, came out and just tore Buffalo up inside, and everything was right between the tackles. It was nothing fancy, and you got to take your hat off to Toledo. They did a really good job in that third quarter and made the deficit 25-20, and Buffalo just couldn't answer.
Bulls had a chance down the stretch to take the lead with a touchdown, and they had to do it with a backup quarterback. Alex Zordich gets banged up, a little bit of a rib injury. We see some of Joe LICATA coming into play. He did some good things and gives you a little bit of an idea about where things may be going at the quarterback position with what LICATA can do off the bench, but it was a much different looking UB offense.
It is a different offense with Joe LICATA. He's a different player than Alex Zordich, and I think that the Buffalo coaching staff is kind of wrestling with that right now, what to do when Joe LICATA is in the game. And inclement weather, they were trying to throw the football, they were behind, and Joe throws a touchdown, but then at that last drive, not able to get it done. And unfortunately for Buffalo, on a great effort by a lot of people, great energy, great passion, great game plan, just a little bit short, and Toledo squeaks by, and they're lucky to get out of here with a win.
Well, finally, Jim, the Bulls' first 4 MAC games came against, without question, the clear 4 best teams in the Mid-American Conference. The next 4 MAC games, not quite as high a level of competition. What can those first 4 games mean for the next 4?
Well, you never want to take anyone for granted, but certainly the teams, Ohio, Northern Illinois, Toledo, the class of the MAC at this point. And when you play teams that are fast and physical, you get used to playing at that speed and expecting a certain physicalness of the game. And when you play lesser teams, I think Buffalo can take advantage of those experiences, and hopefully they will in these last handful of games to really attack a lesser team.
Well, we'll find out what happens. That stretch of 4 games to end the season begins at home again here at UB Stadium against Miami of Ohio with a noon kickoff on Saturday.